Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Kylie Campbell. We warmly welcome the family of Corporal Andrew Sloane Caldwell and Sapper Afton Caldwell, whose story will be told shortly by Private Daniel Slater of the Australian Army, who is the great-great-nephew of the Caldwell brothers. We are honoured to acknowledge Commander Sione Leno, Component Commander Navy of His Majesty's Armed Forces Tonga, and Mrs. Lavinia Leno. Warrant Officer Class 1 Uliki Leotai, Warrant Officer Navy of His Majesty's Armed Forces Tonga, accompanied by Captain Dan Turner, Defence Advisor, South Pacific. We warmly welcome the delegation of the Lions Club Canberra Valley and one recruit training unit from the Royal Australian Air Force visiting from Wagga Wagga, New South Wales. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We warmly welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of Summers Home School. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was a vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit and the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind two brothers on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Corporal Andrew Sloane Caldwell and Sapper Afton Caldwell. Andrew Caldwell was born in May 1891, the last of 5 children born to Steele and Mary Caldwell. Andrew's older brother Afton had been born 5 years earlier. The boy's father died suddenly at the family home in Thedungra, New South Wales, on the 20th of December 1892, leaving Mary to raise the children. Afton attended Young Primary School and as a young man travelled to Kilmarnock in Scotland, where he completed an engineering apprenticeship over 5 years. He also served in the Territorial Army with the 1st Volunteer Battalion, Royal Scots Fusiliers, before returning to Australia in 1910 and turning his mind to agriculture. Andrew attended Parramatta High School, and by the time the First World War began, he was living in Sydney working as an auditor's clerk. He had also been a member of a rifle club and a local militia unit. He enlisted for service in the Australian Imperial Force at Holsworthy on the 25th of August 1915. After initial training, he was made acting sergeant and remained in the training establishment until he was allotted to the 11th Reinforcements to the 20th Battalion. Andrew embarked Sydney aboard the troop ship Nestor on the 9th of April 1916, bound for England. Further training followed, and before he sailed to France in mid-September, in early October, he joined the 20th Battalion, which was occupying frontline trenches in the Ypres sector. Afton enlisted on the 4th of October and was assigned as a reinforcement to the Australian Engineers. He embarked from Sydney on the troop ship Swavic on the 11th of November, bound for England. By the time the ship reached South Africa, Afton was sick with measles. He was disembarked at Cape Town and hospitalised. On the 5th of January 1917, Andrew Caldwell was evacuated to hospital suffering from bronchitis. He spent nearly 2 weeks out of the line recovering. On the 19th of February, Andrew was promoted to Corporal. That same day, Afton sailed from Cape Town for England. A week later, the Germans began withdrawing to prepared defensive positions known as the Hindenburg Line. They adopted a scorched earth policy as they left, which was particularly evident when the Australians reached Bapaume in mid-March. As the Germans withdrew from the town, they set some 400 fires and wrecked buildings. Suspecting the Germans had laid mines and booby traps, the Australians set about locating as many of these devices as they could, including one in the cellar of Bapaume's town hall. A delayed action mine in the town hall's tower remained undiscovered. When the majority of the 20th Battalion left for the front line on the evening of the 25th of March, Andrew Caldwell remained in Bapaume, attached to the battalion's headquarters staff. He was quartered on the ground floor in the town hall along with the other headquarters staff members. At 11:30 p.m, the delayed action mine in the town hall detonated. The explosion devastated the building, killing 22 Australians and 2 visiting French dignitaries. 6 Australians sleeping in the town hall basement survived and had to be dug out of the ruins. Andrew Caldwell was amongst those killed. His remains were recovered and laid to rest in Bapaume Communal Cemetery in France. He was 26 years old. Afton Caldwell arrived in England 2 days after his brother's death. He spent the next 6 months training, preparing for his role as an engineer. He joined the 14th Field Company on the 4th of October and was soon hard at work. In the early hours of the 22nd of October, Afton was working at the Beer Crossroads dump when a German shell exploded nearby. Shrapnel hit him in the left shoulder and the back. He was evacuated to the 3rd Canadian Casualty Clearing Station, where his wounds proved to be mortal. He died just after 8 a.m. and was laid to rest in the Lisseltook Military Cemetery. He was 31 years old. Mary had been in poor health after Andrew's death and took a turn for the worst after hearing of Afton's death and died in December at the age of 73. Afton and Andrew's names are now listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. Their photographs are displayed today beside the pool of reflection. These are just some of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Corporal Andrew Sloane Caldwell and Sapper Afton Caldwell, who gave their lives for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man, lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you a very pleasant